Hi, this is Pete Wittridge again. Welcome to Lesson 1, Chapter 480. We're going to cover the definitions of massage and some of our scope of practice issues. We are also going to look at the short title and the purpose of the Chapter 480. One of the things I'd like to do here is to remind you that each and every one of you has an obligation to complete your continuing education requirements before the end of the renewal period, and that the CE broker system will be monitored so that if you have not completed your hours, then you won't be able to actually renew your license. So please take care of this. This is self-paced learning here, and I just want to remind each of you that it is your responsibility to complete the class, fill out any exam questions or quiz questions, and complete a survey. So without any other ado, I'm going to remind you that you were to actually physically download this little booklet. And one of the things that I'd love for you to be sure to understand here is that everything that we are talking about on this video will be able to be viewed again on as a link or download for yourself. So the first areas that we're going to pay attention to: short title, purpose, and definitions. These are areas that are vitally important for each massage therapist to know about. In the introduction of this particular handout, I remind you that this is a review class, so I'm not going to spend much time on this, but I do want each of you to have a sense of this. You'll also see that the format here, we have some text, and then I created some kind of commentary for you to take a look at. And I think it's helpful. Each of you may or may not have taken this class at another time, but I think it will be helpful for each of you to remind yourself of this regularly. So we call Chapter 480 the Massage Practice Act, and in fact, massage therapy has been regulated for many, many years and will continue to be regulated by the Department of Health. One of the great pieces of being a massage therapist and having been a regulator is that I was involved with many aspects of creating the rule, creating the licensure statutes and rules, and we've always fallen back on the reason for the Practice Act was to prevent unlicensed and unqualified practitioners from practicing. And so what I would say to you is, as I highlight these words here, massage therapists must have knowledge of anatomy and physiology and the understanding of the relationship between the structure and the function of the tissues being treated and the total function of the body. Massage is therapeutic, and regulations are necessary to protect the public from unqualified practitioners. So you can see in this booklet I have tried to highlight the areas that I feel are most important, and then down below I have made some commentary. Very little changes happen into this purpose, but I always want you to be sure that you understand that every time that you are interacting as a professional massage therapist, you are required to and have incumbent upon you to take a review class. So I'm going to stop the slide sharing here for a second and give you the opportunity to see my face again. We have a whole definition section, and one of the things that I would love for each of us to do is to be sure that we have a clear picture of what massage therapy is. Massage means the manipulation of the soft tissues of the human body with the hand, foot, arm, or elbow, and then that includes some kind of hydrotherapy. In our statute, it actually includes colonic irrigation. The other thing that you may notice is that we can use chemical and herbal preparations. We could use some kind of electrical or mechanical devices. And the other fabulous thing that I think is so important here is that this big box allows us to do stretching of the client, passive and active stretching. This gives us the ability to work with clients in a therapeutic relationship over many, many times and many, many sessions. And it also gives us the ability to have informed consent with clients so that they actually have the ability to pick and choose what they would like. Some people talk about this as evidence-informed practice, where we work with our clinical expertise, also then use the most up-to-date and current information about our theories and skills and techniques, and then also use client wishes to modify or develop more or deeper relationship. And this evidence-informed practice has a lot of validity. Many times people who are practicing something and they learn some new information and they realize, maybe what my skill is in this is not based on true evidence, but it feels good to people. So I might talk about it differently or market it differently. The other thing in this definition section is the definition of a massage therapist who receives compensation. Compensation is a pretty clear definition there. Also massage establishments, that's always a big thing. And over and over again, as we play with this statutes and rules, you will see that I can, in the workbook, in the booklet, that I tend to do a little thing where I'm actually physically highlighting, and then after we've highlighted, had some commentary. So for me, I think it's so important for everybody to be sure that they have a clear picture of what your scope of your practice is, what the definition of massage is, and then also I've tried to give some examples here because scope of the practice is variable between different people. For instance, a nurse who comes to massage school has different skills and background than someone who has never been in the healthcare field and begins to massage people. I think one of the great opportunities for us as massage therapists is to be able to help people feel better and then also determine and keep track of some outcomes. I think that's a good section for now. I would love for each of you to begin to look at the exemptions, and as we move into exemptions, then we'll also look at licensure. Since this is a renewal class, I'm not going to speak much about licensure other than to remind you a little bit about what might happen if a student comes out of school or some colleague or friend goes to school, and you'll be able to have the most current information to help them. So at this time, please take a little break, and I will move on to lesson 2 in just a few minutes.